Uh-oh. The hell? Oh. Oops. So sorry. That's a rookie move. That's a major rookie move, but that's okay. Make sure everything's up and a-going. Feel like it is. Yep. That is me. That should be live on YouTube. Sweet. Everything's going. Okay. So, this is a little awkward talking to no one right now, but that's okay. We shall succeed. The interesting thing about doing these lives is you don't really know because sometimes the system is a little slow. I will have to get used to that. That is really weird. Oh, sorry guys, give me a second. So before it showed me how many people were watching and now it's not doing that. That's weird. Why is it doing that? That's not cool. Whoa, that's weird. Why is it doing that? For our first video to start, that's a good one. Okay. We are rocking and rolling. Weird. Man, I hope there's not people in here watching. What? Well, I mean, it's showing I'm live. Yeah, okay. All right, well, here we go. Fine, if that's how you're going to be. So, welcome to the Nicky at Night Show. This is our live channel. What we do is, or what we're going to plan on doing with the live portion of the channel is we're going to go over not only like really recent creepy videos, you know what I'm saying? But what we're really going to do is go over commenters and viewer stories because I've had so many people on and across the platforms, not just YouTube. So YouTube, TikTok, not a lot on Instagram, a little bit, but definitely a ton on TikTok as well. And people show the craziest stories. And you know, sometimes when you get people that comment and stuff, you don't really know if they're telling the truth, right? We don't. But what's crazy is that some of the things are actually like super easy to authenticate. Like, we're not going to go over this story today because there's actually more information on it that I want to get from it. But a woman stated that she was in a sorority in California, an area, I believe it was called Chico, California, I want to say. I don't exactly know where that is. I would say probably somewhere around like LA or Orange County, I think. Could be wrong. But she was going to college out there, and she was staying in a very, very old house, kind of like a Victorian-esque kind of era home. And the man that owned the home ran a hospital out of the home. In the story that she tells is, dude, it's super freaking creepy, man. It's like, the first thing off, like, what the hell, man? Like, you guys you're literally have a sorority house and it's haunted. That is scary, dude. No, thank you. No, thank you. No way. Mm-mm. I'm not dealing with that. That's insane, dude. But what we're going to do is I'm going to pull up this video, and it is going to be the first video that we're going to watch. We're going to watch two. We're not going to go super crazy today. So, close this out. Okay. Seems like everything's going good, thank God, because it was looking a little rocky there for a second. Okay. So, as you saw in the thumbnail, if you guys haven't watched my full video, so this... No, don't put that up there. How dare you? How freaking dare you? Why are you doing this to me? I had it all queued up and it was ready to go. Mo. Here we go. Golly, that was terrible. Okay, here we go. This is very interesting. This isn't necessarily like a crazy, scary paranormal video, but I want you guys, people in here, I know there's nobody watching right now, but I'm still making the video because if people want to watch it, cool. So check this out. I hope you guys can see this. So what this is supposed to be this new technology that like ghost hunters are using when they go to haunted places, and they set this up. And this is what it's supposed to show. Like, there is an entity standing there, like it's picking up ghosts. Or picking up, and the thing is we don't know if it's just ghosts. It could be picking up interdimensional creatures. It could be picking up all different kinds of stuff. I know that was pretty quick and it's gone now. I could play it one more time for you just so we can go over it. So yeah, like, you see that, dude? That is creepy, bro. So it's just bouncing off back and forth. And the thing is there's not a lot of information on exactly what it's picking up, you know, because when you look at the EVP technology and like the stuff that, is it Sam and Colby? They use that, the little thing where they push the button and it makes the lights go up. I'll do another episode on that technology and stuff when we can go over it. It's not that I don't believe in it. The problem is it's so easy for that stuff to malfunction. Not that I don't believe in it, because a lot of times people use it when they're in like abandoned places. Because a lot of times even like EMF from like a cell phone or a Wi-Fi router and things like that can mess that equipment up. So think about that, right? If that messes that equipment up and you're like in a house or an apartment and you got a Wi-Fi router right above your head in a room, that can tend to happen, which is unfortunate because we all want this stuff to be real. But it kind of sucks because I'm just talking into this camera because there's nobody in here like chatting and commenting and stuff like that. So eventually when we get there, that'll be really cool. So we can do that and we can engage with people and people can talk about what they think of this technology and stuff like that, or any of the things that we're talking about for that matter. Pardon me, I am just going to look this up really quick because I want to make sure that we are still alive and going. Because I will be really upset if this thing starts jacking up, because everything seems to be going just fine. That was me talking in the background, by the way. So, it's actually really interesting. When I queued this thing up earlier today, I had like 8 people like jump in at like 1:30. So, I don't know. But because there's not people in here, if you guys watch my content, I'm extremely talkative and very, like, you know, engaging. So if I post this and people watch it, that's great. But in the near future, this is what I'm hoping for, is to be able to do a video that's even an hour and a half long or even 2 hours. Because I'm not saying I'm going to blow through this thing, but if there's nobody in here and people aren't commenting and stuff like that, I'm not going to be able to engage with anything, you know? So we'll get there. This is actually really exciting. It's weird. All right, I'm going to post this next one. And this was a dude, this was at a hospital, okay? This video is super creepy. It's not really old, but it is an older video, and it just resurfaced again. I can't remember what channel it was on. It might have been Nightmare Fuel that posted this on TikTok, and he got a ton of pull on this one again. This is super creepy, dude. Like, just look in the background right there. Can you see it? Here, let me open this up to the whole screen. Watch this. Right there. See that? Dude, right there. Oh, dude. Bro. I don't know if some people just think this stuff is totally fake. You know, I really riffed off of this in a comment section. I had a short, didn't like pop off or something, but it was a short that I posted a long time ago of a dog man or werewolf, however you want to identify the creature. And dude, like some people went at me in that comment section. And when people do that, like, again, I don't care. I have really thick skin. I could give a shit. Okay? I do this for fun. And people that like the paranormal world and want to hear people's paranormal stories and stuff like that. And we're going to get to that. We're going to get to the paranormal stories right after this. I'm going to tell a good one, and then we'll kind of elaborate on it and go about it. And then that'll probably be the end of the video. But I'll elaborate on this really quick on the dog man on that short. And it's a super, super famous video. I wish I could pull it up for you right here, but I don't have it queued up because I didn't think I was going to talk about it. I wish I had like a screenshot or something of it, but you know, it looks like a beautiful, well-kept creature. You know what I'm saying? And it was caught on a trail cam, and people are just commenting and just talking crap like, oh, this is fake. It's AI, AI, AI. May I remind you, whoever's watching or whoever's going to be watching this, I don't know how old you are. But remember, AI is just the new CGI. We've been hearing people say CGI for literally probably 20 years on the internet. Maybe 15, give or take, but that's been the case. That's the world that we've been living in. Okay? And you don't have to believe in the paranormal world, because I know the paranormal videos are very different than like paranormal stories, right? You see a picture and you're like, oh, that's crap. Well, somebody can just lie just as easily with a, you know, just a picture or a video. That's understandable. It's totally understandable. And I get that. But the biggest thing is with this type of stuff is it's all so, you know, we don't know that much about all these creatures. You know, we can all watch the same videos, we can all listen to the same stories, and we can all listen to the quote-unquote cryptozoologists and all these people, but really, none of us really know shit. Because we all really don't know what happens on the other side of the interdimensional plane. We just don't. You can believe in it or you don't. If the creature's already here, it doesn't really matter. They're scary. Sorry, rambling. See, I told you I can do that. Nobody's even in here. But, you know, people keep saying stuff like they're fake and AI, and I come back and say, dude, AI is the new CGI, and believe, man, there was a bunch of people that went in there that liked it and agreed with that, and were explaining those things, saying, yeah, dude, like, that's not like us being crazy people that are into the paranormal doesn't mean that, like, we have to be crazy conspiracy theorists. You know what I'm saying? The alien world is way crazy. And to be honest, lately, there's been way more information coming out about aliens than the paranormal world, which kind of sucks. But, you know, I mean, aliens are paranormal, whatever, but you know what I mean. Ghosts, Bigfoot, shadow creatures, cryptids, all that kind of stuff. So just remember that when people talk about these entities and these happenings and stuff like that, they all have totally different they're all totally different creatures. They all manifest differently. They all come over different ways. Like, when you think about, like, a Bigfoot, right? People call them interdimensional creatures. Well, what the hell does that mean? How are they coming over? Are they coming through a portal? I don't know, are they being summoned? You know what I mean? The crazy thing about like skinwalkers, it's basically, it's some the Native American lore creature, you know? And again, I don't have anything queued up where I can just put a video on there. We'll get better at that. But that's the thing. Nobody really knows how they're coming over. Do they all come over in different ways, or are they all coming over the same way and coming from the same place? Are they coming from different timelines? We don't know. Are the aliens bringing them here? We don't know. It's crazy, dude. And again, I really wish there was people in here talking. That would be really nice. Don't want to get at people, but you know what I'm saying. So I guess, I could play another video. I don't know. I'm thinking about just reading this, one of these stories. Let's do that. I'm going to pull this up and we're going to read one of these stories that somebody sent in. Remember, we're not doing the story of the woman that, the woman in California. We're not doing that one. I'm going to save that for next week on Thursday at 5. Yeah, we got quite a few good oh, jeez, dude. We're going to wait on that one too. Okay, I want to see them all. Dude, that is such a good story. Okay, here we go. I once lived in a haunted house. The spelling, dude. That's something I didn't think about when I was going to start reading these things. Oh, God, the grammar, dude. Oh, God. I once lived in a haunted house. We'd hear, sounded like cowboy boots pacing around on the top floor, which were wood floors. And so the staircase eventually, after moving out all of houses on that historic trail, torn down for an industrial park. Good Lord. That was rough. But that is crazy to think. These people lived in a house where if you're just sitting in the house and you really put yourself in that type of position. This is a little bit short story. Some of the other ones are a lot longer and more elaborate. So like you get a lot more gist of what's going on. But this person just sounds like, I'm going to riff on it really quick. Okay. I'm going to kind of like read it to where it sounds correct. I once lived in a haunted house where it sounded like cowboy boots were pacing around on the top floor, which were wood. So the staircase eventually, after moving out of the house on that historic trail, those houses were torn down for an industrial park. So, well, the real question is, so did you have a possum in your attic? No, I'm just kidding. My neighbors actually think their house is like crazy haunted, but there was like a family of possums walking up and down the fence and stuff. So I wonder if the possums were in their house upstairs. But they really did say it sounded like people were walking around upstairs. So, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. So when you hear stories like this, you go, okay, so why is that happening? So if the homes were old, it sucks because I messaged this person asking where they lived and stuff like that. I didn't say like the address or anything like that, but the local area, maybe I could Google and see like how old the houses were and stuff, but they didn't reach back. So I don't know how true the story is. However, it is pretty creepy to think like if you were home alone and you're just sitting downstairs watching TV and you just hear footsteps in your house, not, pipes clacking if it's cold or weird things like that. Dude, there are, like I said, man, it's never ending. The amount of people that message on, not even stuff that has to do with ghosts or hauntings. Like it could be a Bigfoot clip and somebody will say, we lived in this area and this happened. Stuff like that, I got one in there, man, oop, there she is. I was waiting for that. That's an Anatolian Shepherd barking. She's a psychopath. So you'll get introduced to her eventually, but I'm in a room with a cane corso right now. He's sleeping. But the stories are crazy and the stories will never end either. And that's the other reason why I'm doing the lives now is because I feel like being able to tell stories and talk about stories with people, and eventually when we get people in here and people are talking, the chat will be on fire, man. People will tell their stories and people will get on there and want to say stuff or want to chime in on the stories, and we get to talk about different angles of the stories and what could possibly be going on. I don't understand why it says sounded like cowboy boots. Like, are you saying it sounded like cowboy boots, like spurs or something like that? You know what I mean? I don't know. Hopefully most people know what spurs are. Okay, those are the things that go on the back of your boot where you would hit the horse with it. A little, we don't do that anymore. That's rude. But I don't know. Was your house did it used to be a ranch? Was it a section of the neighborhood where those homes were built? Like, what? Because sometimes in certain areas in the United States, like ranches, even in some areas in Texas, where like you would have a ranch, it's huge, and then maybe there was a couple properties on the ranch, and then they sold all the properties off, and then built neighborhoods around like those little properties right there, and then sometimes way later on, those properties still stay there, and they're kind of like not necessarily a part of that neighborhood, but they're just a part of the community. That doesn't happen a lot. That actually happens quite often, a little bit more in the Northeast, from what I understand. And that's possible, that you had something like that, and I don't know, man, that somebody passed away in the house. It was a cowboy or it was a property or something like that. I don't know, dude. That's the thing about the paranormal. It's weird. Usually, unfortunately, stuff like hauntings usually have to do with, what leads to a haunting is usually death. So it's super creepy, I'll also at some point tell the story of my mother and father-in-law's property. They have a very, very, very old Victorian, and the people that own that house, it's super creepy. Like, the family says that they see ghosts and stuff all the time when they're in the house. I don't know if I believe them or not, but it is what it is. But dude, that's super creepy. Dude, some of the stories, bro, like, I can't even imagine being in that situation. Like, I've had weird things happen to me. You know what I mean? But not anything to where it's super, like, oh my gosh, this was so scary. And it, like, not necessarily ruined me, but, like, it's something you're going to die on the hill on, like I saw. It's not, I haven't really had anything happen that's, like, that crazy. Yeah, no, I'm not going to read that one yet. No, that's a fun one. I'm not reading that one either. That one's super fun. I'm gonna read this Bigfoot one. So this person, like, her name is literally East Texas, like on TikTok. So she wrote, "My ex-husband has a friend named Jason, um, of Corrigan. I don't know. I guess that's where they lived, and he swears up and down that he's seen and heard a Bigfoot and's will to die on that hill." All right. So I'm not gonna sit in here for like a really long time and talk about this part. But okay, I do content on Bigfoot. I do. Do I believe in Bigfoot? I'm kind of on the fence. Like, I want to. Um, there's a lot of pictures and images and all sorts of stuff about him. And I know people talk about government cover up and all this. I think government cover up is probably a part of, again, you don't have to be super conspiratorial, but we obviously know that the government hides stuff from us, dude. Like, come on. It's not rocket science, bro. But what I would say is, like, the paranormal, it's a weird thing. I'm sure the topic will come up sometimes when we talk, but, there's, World War II, the very, very bad man from World War II. He was very into the paranormal, even though he was into the religious stuff too, but he was very into the paranormal stuff and trying to find things about the paranormal. And it's just like, do you think that other governments just stop doing that? So that doesn't mean that Bigfoot's real, right? Bigfoot's an interesting one for me. But I do feel like going down the road of it being an interdimensional creature, I do feel like that Bigfoots probably are a lot easier. They can hide themselves a lot easier, and that's why there's not a lot of videos of them. It would explain a lot more simplistic way, that they go in and out of dimensions, and that's why we can't see them all the time. So it's possible. I don't know if I believe the whole cloaking thing. I actually think the whole cloaking thing, I think that's like a totally different creature. But back to what she was saying. So my other problem is like, ask yourself the question, or I'll ask you, have you ever been in the woods for long periods of time in different areas of the country? Texas has different animals in the woods. Louisiana has different animals in the woods. I mean, especially Louisiana. Like Louisiana and Florida, like you go into the woods in certain areas, dude, like there's all sorts of different animals. You go to the Northeast, you now introduce different birds, bears and all sorts of different stuff, right? So when you hear things in the woods, like she says, she hears Bigfoots, like what was it? Making call. It wasn't making calls. What did she say? Seen and heard Bigfoot. So I don't know what she means by heard. What does she mean by heard? Does that mean like walking around? Well, it could be anything that's like got a decent amount of size to it walking around. It could be it could be a heavy set buck walking around, crunching stuff. Because I mean, Bigfoots are big, but it doesn't sound like a freaking dinosaur. Like it's, you know what I mean? It's not, it's not a freaking 6,000-pound dinosaur walking around in the woods making loud step noises. But like the calls, if you guys watch any of my previous Bigfoot, I will do it. I go at the Finding Bigfoot people hard because I think they're the biggest goofballs ever. That show was on TV for so long, and they all I hope they did. I hope they all made a lot of money. I really do. But they hopefully made a lot of money deceiving people because it's freaking ridiculous. And because they were exceptional at like the video cuts and edits and stuff, like leaving you on the edge of your seat, like, oh my god, did they see something? It's like, no man, it's just a poacher. It's like, really cool, man. And they're like, thanks guys, see you next week. And hearing a Bigfoot, like when they make the noises and all that stuff, I did a video about a year and a half ago on it, and unfortunately, if you listen, I'm not telling the viewer to do this, but like the sound of a bear dying it sounds a lot like a lot of the noises that they claim a Bigfoot makes, which is really unfortunate, but that doesn't mean that they're not in the woods in a lot of the areas that they go to, and it could be something off in the distance because sound travels really far, man, when you're in the woods and it's quiet. You could scream and be really far away and hear somebody when you're in the middle of the wilderness. And now some of the other calls are a little bit different. Like they do the screaming thing. I don't know what that is, dude. Like some people also say that's a bobcat. Bobcats do make really interesting noises as well. But he's just claiming he saw a Bigfoot. I have a hard time with the people that claim they see Bigfoot over people that claim they have like a ghost encounter and things like that, because I just find it to be a lot more likely, just unfortunately. But the videos, I'm down for the videos, man. I'm always down for Bigfoot videos. Always. I don't know about you guys, but I'll always watch a Bigfoot video when they come across. I mean, I follow Boise Bigfoot. There's I don't know. I don't remember. I think his name's Maximum Fear on YouTube. He does mostly cryptid stuff, but he does a ton of Bigfoot stuff. And I like a bunch of his stuff. Unfortunately, he does post a lot of stuff that is AI that aggravates me because you can tell that it is. But it is what it is, man. There's going to be people that are always going to try to deceive us. It is what it is. Holy crap, I've already been talking for 30 minutes. God. That's why, like, all my friends and people that are close to me, like, they all watch something that, they all know I have a YouTube channel, and they're all like, dude, you need to go live. You just can talk forever. So I eventually hope we get people in here, I mean, I got a decent subscribe, anybody that comes in here that's my subscribers on my channel, we don't have anything crazy. I think I'm pretty close to 2,700. That's not a ton, but, we'll get there. It's a lot of fun. I love this genre. Me and a couple of my friends, we love paranormal stuff. And my dad as well. But, yeah, just real quick back on the Bigfoot stuff. That's why I wish people were in here and they could comment to be like, dude, how do you guys feel about Bigfoot? Man, it is such a mixed bag. It's such a mixed bag on how people feel about Bigfoot. Aliens, I'm really, I don't know, dude. Like, aliens is a wild one, dude, because you've got so many people that are into that stuff, like the aliens and the Egypt and aliens and all that stuff, man. God, there's so much good content on that stuff. And those guys are doing, like, so much crazy work in Egypt and stuff. And the stuff that's coming out of there is wild, man. But Bigfoot's, I don't know. We don't know how old those creatures are, man. Those creatures could have been around during the Jurassic period if they're interdimensional. I have no idea, man, because people have been videoing Bigfoots for quite some time. There's a lot of old videos of Bigfoot. But I do have a couple pictures that we're going to look at next week, too, of people that just took, like, images and the ghosts are, like, in the background of an image and stuff like that. Dude, those are super creepy to me, where people are just, like, hanging out and they're just like, hey, everybody smile, ka-ching, and then it's like there's some, like, super creepy entity just standing behind them. That stuff scares the hell out of me. I've never seen anything like that, but this stuff is creepy, dude. But I don't know, man. I'm in here all by myself right now just talking, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to end the stream right now. I really want to do, like, 2 to 3 streams a week. But, hopefully we'll get there. Let me check one more time and make sure that there's, like, no other people in here or anything like that. Because if there's people in here, I'm not going to go away. Yeah. It's okay. Anybody wants to watch this later, it's going to be posted. So anybody that comes in here afterwards and watches the video, I really appreciate it. Make sure you go and check out all of our other content on the main channel, and it's all paranormal stuff and the unknown. I do an episode. It's called The Scaries, and they're usually between 7 and 10 minutes long. It's literally just like the top 5 most creepy videos that I found. That I try to also not post, like, I don't post stuff from, like, the big channels, like Nuke's top 5 and those dudes. Like, I try to not post stuff that they have, and I try to be as early as I can as well. Slapped Ham posted stuff like freaking crazy, dude. But I also I don't go on their channels and copy stuff from their channels. I do get a lot of people that do send me videos as well, so that's cool as well. If anybody wants to do that, man, you can either go to TikTok or go to my Instagram channel, and you guys can send DMs and send videos and stuff. That's cool. But I really appreciate anybody that's going to come in here and watch this video after the fact. If they just want to sit here and listen to me talk and not engage with people, that's cool. But other than that, I appreciate it, man. I'm out.